All right, so we're looking at P similarities, prove the Pythagorean theorem. All right, guys, let's take a look. All right, so what is the Pythagorean theorem? You may have heard this before. It's basically a squared plus b squared equals c squared. All right, so the c is your hypotenuse, it's the longest side. So that means the other two legs, a and b, if you square them both, it's going to give you the squared side of the hypotenuse, the longer side. All right. So that's a visual for you to see. And then here's another one too. You may have seen this. So C is going to be equal to the square root of a squared plus b squared. Okay, so that's just would be moving things around, right? So you have a squared plus b squared equals c squared. If you want to just solve for c, then it looked like this. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at one of the problems. So this first one right here, they're completing the proof. This is basically a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So if we're looking at xz, so this side right there, and then you have, it's like a different color, you have xy right here, and then that's all going to be equal to yz right here. So this would be the longer side right there. All right, so let's just take a look at one of them that's already solved. All right, so line 1 and 2, they're the given. Okay, that's going to say that xz is perpendicular to xy. Okay, and then same thing for the other two. You got x, or wx, excuse me, is perpendicular to yz, wx, yz. Okay. All right. Next one, we're looking at the two right angles. So this right angle is going to be congruent to this one. All right angles are congruent. That's always going to be the case. Whenever you have the same angle, so z is congruent to z, that's going to be reflexive. So right here, z is going to be equal to z. That's reflexive property of congruence. And then when you have these, you see an image of a triangle, and you have x, y, z, and then you have this little symbol right there. That symbol right there is going to be similarity. So what this is looking for is angle-angle similarity. So whenever you have any of the problems in this section with that that symbol right there, it's going to be angle-angle similarity. Okay. The next one right there, you have yz slash xz is going to be equal to xz slash yz. Those are going to be definition of similarity. So whenever you see those two and it's formed like that, it's going to be definition of similarity. Next one is algebra right there. And you can look down here at 12 and 13. Those are also algebra. So just trying to move things around, solving it. The next one is all right angles are congruent. So this one is looking at, let's see, y, x, z. Okay. So similar to what we looked at earlier. So let's take a look. So 8 and 3. So you can see there's two right angles there and there. They're going to be all right angles are congruent. All right. Again, reflexive y and y. This symbol right there, similarity. So those two triangles are, those two angles are similar. Definition of similarity is the next one. We already covered algebra, and then additive property of length. So yz. So we got yz right here, this blackish line, and then we have wz plus. So wz is here, plus the rest of that length. We got wy right there. So if those two add up, it's additive property of length. So basically just splitting this line up in half, or not in half, but splitting it up. And then the very last one, you're just going to move, if you look at the previous answers up above, it's going to be substitution for that last one. And a lot of these are going to be similar. There's going to be a lot of different statements and a lot of reasons, but they're going to be pretty similar, not too much difference. All right, so let's look at a different one. Okay, so they're going to give us everything, and then we're going to try to solve for number 5. Okay, so I'm looking at that symbol next to those two triangles right there. And this one is going to be angle, angle. Let's see, let's look at here again, just so I can show you. All right, so find the symbol, and that is AA similarity. Okay, down there. Okay, so number 5 is going to be this right here. All right, you look again. There's a lot of things that are similar to what we just saw. Substitutions are going to be at the very end. Algebra over here, on 12 and 13. Reflection property, always the angles are congruent to each other. B right there. B is congruent to B in 4. All right, let's move to one more. So RT, this side right there, the smaller leg, plus RS right there is going to be equal to the hypotenuse, which is going to be the longest side right here. All right, so you have your first two given, 2 perpendicular statements. Next one is going to be looking at the right angles. SRT right here is going to be congruent to this right angle on the other side. And you'll see that later on in the statement on number 8 as well. You're going to repeat that. Just a different order on those. Then we have that symbol right here, the similarity symbol. So we have RST and then QRT, those are similar. And then definition of similarity, QT/RT is going to be equal to RT/ST. All right, and then let's see, what are they looking for down here? All right, so we have similarities, angle similarity here, then below that again, what we just talked about, definition. A similarity is going to be the answer for number 11. All right, I block these off too. This question actually only asked for number 11 and 15. 15 is going to be substitution, okay, right there. Similar to what we've seen on these last two. And then 12 and 13 are going to be algebra. 14 is additive property of length. I just had to double check that what I had. So that is SQ plus QT, or QS and QT. They're going to add up there. So you're going to add those two sides to make one line right there. And yeah, so they're going to look similar. So my recommendation is look at one, look at maybe the example, for instance, this one, look at all the reasons they give and really look at and the sides, the triangles, the similarities, all that stuff. It's going to be similar when you go out throughout the different proofs. So this one, you're only going to have to get to 80, the SMART score of 80 to get a full credit. But if you want to do one more, then you're going to have to fill in a lot of these. You're going to have to fill in the blanks for the statements and then the reasons as well.